Good afternoon, everyone. Treasure Troller here from the militant state of Michigan. Sorry about that. We just finished up an Alone Vlog. Episode 8 should come out later today. But we have to do a Treasure Troller video. Had to do one now. So here it is. It's football season. To start a football season. And I'm not talking about just here in America. Over there in Europe, their football season is starting. Soccer, to be exact. So I decided Treasure Troller and hopefully the tens of people that watch the videos will also join me in rooting for Crystal Palace this year. Now, I know as much about English soccer and Crystal Palace as Ted Lasso did when he went over to coach the Greyhounds. They just seem to be sort of a I guess you could say average team in the league, not one of the top contenders, but they got a lot of heart. I did keep track of them the end of the season, and at the end of last season, I think they only lost like one game, tied a game, and won about 8 or 7, something like that. They closed out the year pretty strong. Everyone else kind of likes to dislike Crystal Palace or kind of thinks it's a joke that you're keeping, that you'd root for Crystal Palace, when there's, Man City. That's the one that that's the Georgia, Alabama of English soccer. They're professionals. They seem to take soccer differently than like we take like professional football or basketball or whatever. And mostly there's these two dudes from, one's from California, and I get Man City fans, and they have a Man City podcast, and I just go on there and type in comments from about Crystal Palace, which I really don't know anything about. But we're going to root for Crystal Palace for 2 reasons. One is because they're not they're not the Alabama, or they're not the Georgia, or even the Michigan. You can go anywhere in the country and find Alabama fans, Michigan fans, whatever. They're not that. If you're the Crystal Palace fans, you're not probably going to find them spread all over Europe. So they're kind of like the so-so team. But they have one thing that nobody else in the league has. This is the biggest reason why we're going to be rooting for Crystal Palace. One word, one compound word, cheerleaders. They are the only team in that league that has cheerleaders. And we must root for them based on their marketing prowess, knowing and understanding the value that a cheerleading squad of very attractive women that identify as women add to the sport. So for that alone, we could root for Crystal Palace. So I have no merchandise in the links below to sell you. I'm not making a penny off this. Go to Amazon, buy a Crystal Palace hat. I don't know, buy a Crystal Palace handkerchief or whatever. So we're going to support Crystal Palace. We're going to do maybe weekly update kind of things or game things, especially when they upset teams like Manchester City and Aston Villa teams like that, when they beat them, we're going to have a little bit of fun. But there's one thing we're not going to do. We are going to be Crystal Palace fans from a good, safe distance. We're not going to refer to this team as like we're part of the team. Like we got to get better on defense. Or we got to just shoot on goal more. There ain't no we involved in this rooting. Okay? That's bullshit. That's crossing the line. That's crossing the line. We're going to be fans from a good, safe distance. We're going to enjoy Crystal Palace, enjoy the season. Hey, maybe the ultimate goal for Treasure Troller will be get a couple of Crystal Palace cheerleaders to actually follow Treasure Troller. So that would be nice. Maybe get a couple Crystal Palace fans to join in on the conversation, because we don't know anything about soccer. We know good marketing when we see it. We know quality females when we see them. We know what it's like to be kind of the I'm trying to think, what did Hillary call us? We're kind of, Crystal Palace is kind of a flyover state when it comes to politics. Deplorables. There we go. We're, Crystal Palace is sort of the deplorables. We got to trump them up a little bit. We got to see the value in rooting for Crystal Palace, and we will root for them from a good, safe distance. So, hey, if you got any Crystal Palace fans, or you know anybody that's a Crystal Palace fan, supply them with the link, or, we can join in. We have a good time rooting for a team in a sport that we know absolutely nothing about. Ted Laszlo, if you're out there, join on in. So, with that, this is Treasure Troller. I think they're the Eagles, the Crystal Palace Eagles. Saying aloha, good day, and go Eagles.